How social media is rewiring your brain. The hidden truth. You didn't notice when it all started. There was no catastrophe, no official announcement. Nobody said, "From today, your brain will be rewired." In January 2007, Steve Jobs introduced the first iPhone. It seemed like a technological breakthrough. But in reality, it was the start of the age of constant stimulation. WhatsApp, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, TikTok, step by step, app by app. The world began reshaping your attention. Today, the average person spends over 2.5 hours per day on social media. Teenagers, up to 4 to 5 hours. That's almost 40 days per year, or more than a year of life over a decade. A year handed over to algorithms. And your brain has been learning all along. It adapts, it rewires itself, and you barely notice how it's changing you. 10. Constant stimulation, the start of a habit. At first it seems harmless. I'm just checking my phone, but every tap is training your brain. According to Descout 2016, the average user touches their phone 2,600 times a day, and active users over 5,400 times. Every notification triggers a tiny dopamine spike, and you return to the feed again and again, often without purpose. It's like learning to walk. At first cautious, then automatic. But here, the habit is shaping your attention and emotional responses. Think about it. How many times today did you unconsciously check your phone, even without notifications? 9. The disappearance of boredom. Why being alone feels uncomfortable. Boredom used to be valuable. It gave your brain space for ideas, reflection, and creativity. But the University of Virginia, 2014, found that most people cannot sit still for 10-15 minutes without stimulation. Some even chose a mild electric shock just to avoid boredom. Today, every pause is filled with screens, news, memes, videos, notifications. Even moments alone are replaced by an endless feed. The key: creativity fades along with silence. And your personality begins forming externally, through content rather than internally. 8. The dopamine loop. Likes and variable rewards. When your posts get likes, your nucleus accumbens, the brain's reward center, lights up. This is the same region that responds to gambling, nicotine, and cocaine. Why are likes unpredictable? In 1957, psychologist B.F. Skinner demonstrated that variable reinforcement is the most powerful habit-forming method. You never know when a notification will arrive. You don't know how many likes you'll get. And that's why you keep checking, again and again. The fact: the average user does this thousands of times a day, often without realizing. This is not casual use. This is algorithmic dependency. And your brain gradually rewires for constant reward anticipation. 7. Decreasing attention span. The brain versus short videos. In 2000, the average attention span was 12 seconds. By 2015, it had dropped to around 8 seconds. Every short video, meme, or story provides an instant reward. TikTok reported in 2022 that active users watched over 95 minutes per day. Your brain adapts to constant novelty. Reading a book, tackling a complex task, or deep work becomes exhausting. A University of California study showed that after being interrupted by a notification, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully return to a task. Ask yourself, how often were you distracted today? How many tasks remain unfinished because you can't focus? 6. Social comparison. Other people's highlights versus your reality. Social media shows the top 1 to 5% of people's lives. Every time you see someone else's peak moments, your brain subconsciously compares them to your daily reality. In 2018, the University of Pennsylvania ran an experiment. Students limited social media to 30 minutes a day, and their depression, anxiety, and loneliness decreased. We compare ourselves constantly, often without realizing it. And the more we do, the deeper the anxiety grows. Other people's likes become a measure of our own worth. 5. Emotional contagion. Your feelings are shaped by the feed. In 2014, Facebook conducted an experiment on 689,000 users. Their feeds were manipulated to be more positive or negative. The result? Users began posting with the same emotional tone. You think your emotions are spontaneous? Partially, they are shaped by platform architecture. A negative feed makes you more negative. A positive feed temporarily boosts mood. Algorithms teach you to react in ways that keep you engaged. Imagine, your emotional reactions are increasingly dictated by what keeps you scrolling, not by yourself. 4. Algorithms and reality distortion. Fake news and extremes. MIT 2018 showed that fake news spreads 70% faster than the truth. Why? Emotion, fear, surprise, anger. The algorithm doesn't judge morality, it measures engagement. You begin seeing extreme opinions, loud headlines, radical viewpoints. 2020. Research, panels confirmed. Algorithmic personalization increases polarization and extremism. This is not accidental. It is a system reshaping your worldview without your conscious consent. 3. Teens and self-esteem. Instagram and young minds. Teenagers aged 11 to 13 are especially sensitive to social media, a critical period for self-esteem development. Meta revealed that Instagram worsened self-esteem issues for 1 in 3 teenage girls, with 13% experiencing increased suicidal thoughts. The algorithm kept working because retaining attention was more important than well-being. This shows how technology deliberately influences vulnerable minds, shaping anxiety and self-worth through likes and social comparison. 2. Neuroplasticity and long-term changes. The brain adapts. Neuroplasticity means your brain changes in response to repeated experience. Rapid stimulus shifts, emotional highs, and short videos form new neural pathways. Studies in 2020, Frontiers in Psychology, showed that heavy social media use increases impulsivity and reactivity. It changes not just behavior, but the very structure of how your brain responds. Over time, your mind becomes reactive rather than reflective, always anticipating the next notification, the next dopamine spike. 1. Living as content. The final alarm. The changes are subtle but noticeable. Less patience, more irritability, higher anxiety, lower satisfaction. You evaluate every moment. How will this look? How many likes? You no longer just live your life. You rate it as content. If algorithms disappeared tomorrow, would your thoughts remain the same? Would your self-esteem stabilize? Would your focus return? If your emotions are heightened by what keeps you scrolling, if your fears are fueled by what provokes reactions, if your beliefs are shaped by what's shown most often, who controls your inner reality? You or the algorithm? This isn't a conspiracy. It's not a theory. It's fact. The architecture of social media is optimized to hold your attention and shape your emotions, beliefs, and behavior. But there is a way out. You can consciously control your online time. Take deliberate breaks to let your brain rest. Filter the information you consume. Remind yourself that life isn't measured in likes. Subscribe and hit the like button if you want to take back control of your mind. New analyses of technology, myths, and real facts will help you stay the master of your own thoughts.